don't think this trait is specific to Democrat voters, but the way that they constantly strive for 100% purity in their ideology, I've got to ask the question, when are they going to start turning on the people that influence them and to voting for Biden and everybody who just starts canceling other people because some people won't think that that person's cancelable, and then yet on the other side of the aisle you're going to have other people who literally will not stop until it's just them left. Like you have wordsmith Rosanna Arquette threatens to boycott the Hyatt Regency because that's a popular stance to take, and I'm sure all of those grassroots supporters that you should theoretically have can really afford to stay at the Hyatt hotel at what, $200, $300, $400, $500 a night because they hosted a fascist Nazi convention. Is that what you could sputter out of that first year plastic surgery test case you call a face? Oh yes, I'm gonna boycott the Hyatt in Orlando, Florida because it hosted CPAC because there's a whole bunch of fascist Nazis that were there. No, there's a bunch of grifters and a bunch of idiots who don't quite understand the lexicon of society. I was very vocal about how it was people who were attempting to do a Trump impersonation, couldn't quite figure it out, and just kept on throwing out things like socialism, radical leftists, cancel culture, you're being canceled, everybody's being canceled. Meanwhile, not, defining what they mean by cancel. And that's important because if you're going to be fighting this insane narrative, you have to understand the terms of engagement. Canceling does not mean not supporting something any longer. No, far from it. There's a difference between a boycott and a canceling. Okay. With a boycott, you can choose not to use the service of something you are currently employed of. Like instead of buying your groceries at Superstore, you decide to exclusively shop at Costco or the farmer's market, whatever's open, I suppose. By no longer supporting Walmart, you are thereby boycotting them. And in some media circles, that would be, you're trying to cancel Walmart. No, they do not adhere to my principles, my values, and therefore I shall not support them with my dollar. That, I suppose, is what Rosanna Arquette is saying, but at the same time, she has such a warped worldview that allowing people into their establishment just because they're right of Stalin on the political spectrum, which she's a part of a different type of spectrum, doesn't adhere to the context at which I would support a boycott. I don't necessarily know if they really work. I don't necessarily know if I would partake in one. I suppose I am over on Twitter because I refuse to post anything on their service because, well, they're one of the biggest distributors and circulators and profiteers off of cheese pizza. We'll go ahead and call it that. You guys know, you can tell by the acronym that creates and fill in your own blanks. And if more people had access to that information, perhaps they would also start to boycott Twitter and it would eventually fall even faster into its death spirals. But you have this brain-dead idiot thinking that there are fascist Nazis everywhere. And unfortunately, morons like this procreate, and they won't be prescribing a classic time-honored tradition to their demon spawn. Because Dr. Seuss is cancelled. What? Why? 6 books will stop being published because of racist and insensitive imagery. Oh my god. You know what? It used to just be Huckleberry Finn, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, because Jogger Jim was in there, and oh no, you can't have that. You can't have that kind of talk in a public library. We need to remove that. Everybody thought that that was reasonable. I did not. Even, I believe that I was in high school when that was happening. I can't remember the time, but that doesn't change the context of this. It's always a slippery slope, guys. It always stops with something everybody, 90% of people agree with, and then eventually it comes down to a point where you're getting rid of books that were published in the 50s, and where does it stop? Everybody gets the tranny coloring book? Like, what are we doing? 6 popular Dr. Seuss books, including And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street and If I Ran to the Zoo will stop being published because of her racist and insensitive imagery. The business that preserves and protects the author's legacy, said Tuesday. Ugh, the Associated Press reported. These books portray people in the way that is hurtful and wrong, Dr. Seuss Enterprises told. I'm sure a couple of their rainbow-haired interns probably made massive inroads when it comes to the realm of influence in the Dr. Seuss Enterprises. I didn't even know that was a thing. Ceasing sales of these books is only part of our commitment and our broader plan to ensure Dr. Seuss Enterprises catalog represents and supports all communities and families. Yes, eventually they'll just be driving around the book burning mobile, and you can go ahead and throw in your copies of Cat in a Hat, and make sure you take green eggs and ham and fry it up for your morning dinner because racism. The Associated Press reported that racist and insensitive depictions played a part in their removal. The other books affected are Miguel Elliott's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Eggs Super, and The Cat's Quizzer. So not Green Eggs and Ham, just its sequel, and The Cat's Quizzer, I assume, is the same thing. Oh, the move to drop 6 titles comes just 24 hours after Virginia school systems removed the children's books by Dr. Seuss from its annual Read Across America program over charges that they have strong racial undertones, mud dog whistles all the time. These are the same assholes that thought that the CPAC stage was in the exact same shape as, Nazi imagery. See how it all circles back around? These people view everything in the purview of race or gender or divisive, immutable characteristics, and they can't shake it. It's everything about what they do. Like you guys watching this, you're just regular individuals. You go about your day. You view things in the scope of your work day during the hours of 9 to 5. If you're out in the patch, you're working ridiculous hours. Do you take that home with you? Do you relive that every waking moment? Imagine having to do that for every day of your life. That's what it's like for these people. Okay, everything's in that context. You live in that same hyper-aware, hyper-paranoid hellscape. And you think that everybody else has to live like that, and you enforce those values onto them, whether they want them or not. It's a cult-like behavior, and we all know where it leads. It's just going to be state-approved books, state-approved media that gives way to state-approved ideas. So today it's Dr. Seuss, and like I said before, everything, it was just... it was Huckleberry Finn for having a gamer word being printed, 100 years ago. That was fine then, and then now all of a sudden it's 6 books being run out on a rail by a former military vet. I'm like, it's so stupid. But this right here is legitimate cancel culture, and you cannot stand for it because it always starts with the easy targets. Like our final topic, Alex Jones is back in the news. I love me some Alex Jones, and he's once again being taken out of context because there's a minute-long clip that's out there saying, he was sick and tired of Donald Trump, and The Hill has the article here, and I hate me some Hill. I think that they are absolute hacks, and the way that they're framing Alex Jones in this is indicative of the surface level understanding of concepts by the media. And if anybody has listened to what Alex Jones has had to say, I'll be honest, I think he's terrific. He's a wonderful entertainer. He has a lot of great skills that broadcasters can learn and listen, and his quotability, his memeability is second to none when it comes to the internet, at least in the circles that I see. You don't have to agree with everything that he says, but he has a shocking rate of being proved right if given a long enough time frame. And this right here, I just seen the clip, I seen the write-up, and I immediately knew it's like, yeah, this is out of context because he's actually been saying this stuff for quite a long time. And I can't remember exactly which podcast it was, but yeah, he says that he just wants to give it up. It could have even been Joe Rogan's podcast where he's just like, I want to retire from politics. All of this stuff just really ramped up. I just wanted to give up the reins. And, well, let's just give you proper context on this clip. Prominent conspiracy theorist and far-right media personality. Well, okay, when he was against George W. Bush in the mid-2000s, was he still a far-right media personality? Is he a conspiracy theorist? Sure. Far right, though, I take umbrage with that. Alex Jones is seen in a newly revealed video complaining about former President Trump and exclaiming that he wished he had never met him. Yeah, and this video clip was from 2019, okay? In the truth, I'm just gonna say it, I wish I had never fucking met Trump. Jones said in the video, which was taken in January of 2019, so it is, yes, 2 years old at this point. I wish it would have never happened. And it's not the attacks I've been through. I'm so fucking sick. I'm sick of fucking Donald Trump. God, I'm fucking sick of him. And I'm not doing this because, like, I'm kissing his fucking ass. You know, it's like I'm sick of it. Yes, he's sick of all the attacks. if he didn't come out in such fervent support of Donald Trump in 2016, he would still have his platform. He would still be the media's whipping dog because they would just keep him around for the same reason that Ben Shapiro is allowed to trend on Twitter once, twice, 3 times a week. It's because they need somebody, they need a boogeyman over there to point to. But they seen how successful he was when he got behind Trump in 2016. Okay. And if somebody led to such a massive deplatforming such as this, would you have second thoughts of the association with him? Quite possibly. 100%. And he's been saying stuff like this, like, I didn't want to get so involved in politics. I just wanted to be pointing out the stuff that I seen. And Trump looked like the man who was standing up to the establishment, the globalists, and wanted to make them pay. Something that goes horribly underreported, at least in this little tidbit here, is that he's not a Trump sycophant. Don't believe me? Take a look at when Trump bombed Syria. We brought it up before when Biden bombed Syria over the weekend. Alex Jones dedicated just about his entire 3-hour-long radio program to excoriating Trump, getting in bed with the globalists, marrying a goblin, getting in bed with a goblin, having a child with a goblin. But this is just really so typical, okay? There's nothing to report on when it comes to the Biden administration. Like I've said before, Biden is toxic when it comes to clicks, views, and ratings. I'll still report on it because he's really terrible and all of his policy decisions lead to absolute disaster. And because Alex Jones, probably the name right behind the glass when ratings drop, break glass. And then right behind that, right in front of it actually, is Donald Trump. So if you put those two together, guess what? You can run a headline, and that's why it's the #1 most popular topic right there on the Hill. I just wanted to give proper context to this because I listen to a ton of Alex Jones. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It is informative. But you also got to put it in that proper context that the dude is being as excitable as he can be. And just like Trump, if you don't take everything so literally, you'll come out much farther ahead. So yeah, I guess that was kind of simping for Dr. Seuss and Alex Jones, but you got to do what you got to do, I suppose. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.